VR gaming and why I still love it. I grew up playing video games. I started with a NES, a Nintendo Entertainment System, with Super Mario and Duck Hunt on the same cartridge. We had the light gun and we had one controller. And that was how it started. That was the beginning, right? I think that was the beginning for a lot of people. I remember playing those games and being amazed, being fascinated. How was it that these pixels could move on the screen by my command? I don't know. Movies and videos, they seemed more I don't know, more understandable. A recorded tape played back through. That seemed possible. It was just sort of like a moving photograph. But a video game, I was manipulating it in real time. And things were happening, things were changing. I was having consequence within the game. Not to any exterior consequence, of course, but I had consequence within the game. Based upon my actions, I could interact with the world in a real way. That was fascinating to me. It sparked an interest. It sparked a lifelong interest that persists to this day. As times changed, technology grew and developed. Games got more complex, more interesting. They had more graphics, more physics. The way you played games was constantly evolving. I mean, from Mario to The Legend of Zelda on 64 to GoldenEye to Halo to Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, you know, there was always something new coming out of the gaming space. Always there was something new. Really until about the last 15 years. I mean, I really think about 2010 is when it really started to stagnate really bad. And we've never really recovered from that. In 2016, we got the Index headset, and it was so far outside my reach in terms of price and availability that I just didn't even worry about it, right? Like I saw it coming through and I was like, well, that's just not something that I'm going to get to participate in. But then years later, along came the Quest headset. And I bought one because they were like $200 for an Oculus Quest, just the original Oculus Quest. And I bought it. I played some games on it, but the games were kind of like mobile games. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have a lot of graphics. They didn't have a lot of depth. You could kind of get a feel for what a VR game should be like, but you came away from it just being like, I just want more. It's not enough, you know? And then eventually I saw an article that said, hey, did you know you can connect your Oculus Quest to your PC and play PC VR games like it's a Valve Index? And I was like, I'm sorry, say that again? That very same day, I had Half-Life Alyx downloaded, purchased, installed, and I was playing it on my Oculus Quest headset, my $200 headset. I never thought anything like that was possible, and I had never been so torqued in my entire life.
Is it weird that when I see jackets like this, I want to like Tarkov style loot?
Of course, after playing Half-Life Alyx, I had to find other games, right? Because Half-Life Alyx is kind of a good one-through, but there's just not really anything left to do with it besides modding, and I'm just not big into the modding scene. But I stumbled across a survival shooter called Into the Radius, and I put damn near 300 hours into the Radius. I love that game. I love that I love the concept of going into a zone with the preparation that you've brought with you and nothing else. And you have to find resources to survive, and you're trying to like travel across this zone. It's so fun. Into the Radius 1 is easily one of my favorite VR games. Into the Radius 2 is just more of the same, and I love it. It's got co-op. It's so much fun. I've spent so many hours playing Into the Radius 2 with KT2 Fly, or just playing it on my own. It's a great game. Contractors Showdown Exfil Zone is an amazing adaptation of Escape from Tarkov in VR. Full with scav raids and traders and loot and I mean armor system. Gun modding is coming soon. It's incredible. Exfil Zone is amazing if you haven't checked it out. The VR community is growing, and the VR gaming space is getting better all the time. It's going through growing pains, just like gaming used to go through back in the day, like original gaming went through. But I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like eventually that's going to lead to some amazing things coming out of the VR space. And I feel like it already is. It's just failing to get the recognition that it deserves. There's this ongoing animosity between like VR and flat screen that I will simply never understand. There's this idea that if you play VR, then you can't play flat screen games. And if you play flat screen games, then you can't play VR games. And I don't get it. I play both, and I will forever play both. I don't think I'm going to lose interest in either one of them anytime soon. I do think that they kind of serve different audiences. I do think that's true. I do think there are people that have different interests in one or the other based on their gaming preferences and their gaming habits, right? I mean, you can't, like, I was about to say you can't sit down and play VR, but that's not true. You absolutely can't sit down and play VR. I just can't sit down and play VR. But I will say that VR is definitely a more energetic type of gaming, right? It's more like getting up and going for a walk or going for a jog versus sitting down and watching a movie, right? Video games is like sitting down and watching a movie. Playing VR is like getting up and going for a walk, right? And that's kind of why I think VR is great in many ways. It's good for you to get up and move your body, even if just a little bit. And you're having so much fun doing it most of the time that you take the headset off and you're exhausted. You're just totally cooked. You've burned so many more calories than you realize you have. And for a moderately skinny fat guy like me, that's a good thing. It really is amazing to me just how kind of dead and meaningless the console wars are now. I mean, the console wars existed back when you were a kid with a Super Nintendo and that's all you had, right? And so then you had to tell all your friends that the Super Nintendo was so much better than the Sega. Why? Because it was what you had and you had to establish superiority. That's it. That's the only reason console wars ever existed. That and marketing. They served the businesses more than they served any of the gamers. So I never understood why people insisted so much on putting so much energy into it. It's silly. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying earlier about the difference in experience, I do think that is one of the big reasons that VR struggles to take hold. People think of gaming as like this like leisurely after work kind of thing, and it is. And I think even with VR that can still be the case, but it is a different thing. It's a different mindset, right? Like it's not as chill in many ways, even though I enjoy it just the same. I mean, people can be chill going on a walk, right? But it's like you have to establish a certain level of tolerance to be able to handle that. There is a barrier to entry that comes with VR, and not all of it is financial. Some of it is the ability to handle the nausea or the vertigo or the physical exertion of being able to hold your arms up for an extended period of time. There are definitely some physical barriers to entry when it comes to VR. I'm still excited about the future of gaming. I still think video games have a place in the future of the world. I'm hopeful that games will continue to grow and develop. I'm hopeful that this dark age that we've suffered through the last 15 years won't be the death of games as we know it. I'm hopeful that innovation and creativity will win out. And I think VR will be a part of that. I think VR will be a means for gaming to continue, even if traditional games as we know it fail. But guys, I'd be really interested to know what you think about all this. Let me know in the comments. Come and visit me on stream sometime and we can talk about it more. Much love, Tracks out.